Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is July the 28th, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Monday, happy Garfield Day to ya. Hopefully you got that lasagna. Hell, hopefully you got seconds of that thing. As for me, I'd say I'm eating pretty good. We got a piece, maybe a little extra cheese on it. Today was solid, especially for a Monday, y'all. Like it felt good. It's one of those where I was like, man, why can't all Mondays feel at least this good? If every Monday felt this good, I wouldn't complain as much. But hey, sometimes that's just how it is. It's just how it goes. But we woke up. I will say I woke up a little bit too early, but that's kind of par of the course for our Mondays lately. I tend to fall asleep too early on Sunday night and then wake up kind of towards the middle of the night. So this case, I woke up at like 4 in the morning. So I was kind of tossing and turning for about like an hour or so. Got up about an hour before my alarm, hour and some change, whatever. But that being said, didn't let that stop me. I got some coffee in my system. We went on to work. Work was good. Work was very slow, which is nice for a Monday. We'll take that. I love a slow pace. Got to chill, got to yap a little bit in maintenance, so we always love that as well. I'm trying to think, did anything really come up at work? No, nothing major, nothing massive. After work, we went to the gym. Gym was good. We did miss out on the Smith machine today because it was so busy, but that's okay. Overall, it didn't feel like stifling. I've gotten used to the idea of like, hey, Monday and Tuesday, you get what you can get, right? And I generally felt too that I compensated, for what I wasn't able to get on the Smith machine and like other machines and stuff. So I feel all right. I feel pretty good about it. So yeah, I mean that was pretty much the whole day. I ordered some Sophie shorts, which are the little hoochie daddies that I like to wear at the gym. I ordered those yesterday, and through the power of Amazon, I love that. Thank you, Lex Luthor. I mean Jeffrey Bezos or whoever's running that fucking thing, because I got my shit really quick. Though that being said, they split my order because I ordered two things the other day. I ordered a thing of Sophie shorts and a weight training belt. And just mysteriously, one of my things got shipped out to me, order process, cool. But then the other half, which is that belt, just nothing. It's just sitting there. So I'm like, I don't know if it's being backstocked or they're being funky, but I'll get back to you on that. But overall, I'm happy to get the shorts. I got a smaller size for the first time in terms of these types of shorts because they generally run really small. I think, I normally get extra large, so I got a large and they fit, and I was very happy because if these things did not fit, oh boy, they would not be looking good. It'd be very compromising, I'll say that. So I'm glad that they fit and it's nice, so I'll be wearing those tomorrow. Looking for the hoochie daddies. So yeah, no, today was a good day. It was solid. No complaints. Let's go ahead and do our startup and let's get into some news. We have a lot of ground to cover today. Lots of news to start off our week. Sad to say I'm not able to get to it all today, unfortunately. But I mean, to be fair, technically I never do. But I try to do my best. Y'all know I try. Yummy. All right. From the BBC, Thailand and Cambodia agree to immediate ceasefire. Thailand and Cambodia have agreed to an immediate and unconditional ceasefire after 5 days of fighting at their border, killed at least 33 people and displaced tens of thousands. This is the first vital step to de escalation and a restoration of peace and security, said Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, flanked by his Thai and Cambodian counterparts, as he announced the hostilities that would end at midnight. Now, I got a picture of the three of them. We mentioned Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim of Malaysia. We have Cambodian Prime Minister Han Manat. He's on the left. And then Thailand's acting Prime Minister Futam Wayachai. Ooh, I'm fucking that up. And mea culpa, I'm sorry. But yeah, I had to talk about this. I wouldn't be me if I didn't. I gotta say, I learned something that I don't like. I learned an ick, political ick, or just maybe just greetings ick, or whatever. Don't do a three-way handshake like this. This is crazy. Like, to have the handshake between the two parties that matter here, and then you have, Malaysia's prime minister coming here and being like the clamshell on top. That's so strange to me. Like, and maybe in other cultures you do this. Maybe this is a thing. We have different styles of handshakes maybe. But to me, visually, I hate this. Like, by all means, just stand there. You could be standing in the middle of it, like I was here, I set this up, cool. You can kind of loom. Good time to loom. But to get involved like this and be like, yeah, this is me too, like, it's weird. It's just weird. Given the context of everything, I found it especially strange. But hey, this is just a weird thing to, like, make so much hay about. But once again, I wouldn't be me if I didn't do this. That being said, it's also mentioned too, which I guess we can just hop right to. Thailand initially rebuffed his offer to mediate, but agreed after U.S. President Donald Trump said tariff negotiations would not proceed until fighting stops. So essentially he's saying, like, hey, if you guys aren't both at the table ready to talk, I'm going to boost those tariffs. I'm going to keep those tariffs up on y'all ass. I'm not going to fucking drop them. So, I mean, that being said, regardless, like, from the way I had heard it, Cambodia was already at the table. They're already like, okay, we're ready to talk. That's fine, cool. And it took a little bit more cajoling for Thailand to be like, okay, actually, we're going to stop and come to the table as well now. All right. So, maybe there's more details to that. But, yeah, I am happy that at least we have a ceasefire now in the works. Hopefully it stays. Hopefully it holds. I think from this article, yes, Cambodia said 13 people have been killed so far on its side, including 8 civilians. You can kind of do the math from earlier there. In terms of just Thailand's losses, at least calculated. I know we had covered at least, I want to say at least like 11. And then they also mentioned in this article as well about the Thailand soldier whose leg got blown off in a landmine. That was kind of part of, like, triggering this dispute. But once again, I'm thankful to have friends who can, like, definitely put me on to more details of this. You definitely get to see more of a perspective when you get to look at more localized news, or even just from, like, different states and stuff like that. You get more details out of that stuff for sure. But, that being said, things are very murky because on the ground, you only have the two sides. You only have Thailand, you only have Cambodia really saying one side or the other. You don't have any kind of third party, once again, on the ground to say, oh, this is happening, oh, that's happening. Everyone's kind of playing it secondary. So yeah, I am happy though to at least say once again that there is a ceasefire. But if anything, once again, just getting personal. This is definitely let me know. I spent a decent chunk of last year learning a bit about Cambodia, just learning about like the Khmer Rouge and Pol Pot and things of that nature, and that was very informative. This is definitely like an eye-opening moment for me to be like, damn, I need to learn more about Thailand too. Because there's just a lot of historical stuff here. So much historical context at play that, the media is only going to do so much until a thing gets so big before they really put that kind of time and energy into print. But yeah, I would definitely like to learn more, and not just about Thailand, but also Cambodia as well. There's still so much more for me to learn. This is very akin to like whenever I start talking about Syria, where I just feel like a fucking right dumbass, like more so than usual, because I'm just like, there's just so much here, and I'm only touching like a bit of it, you know what I mean? And I'm trying to form a whole opinion on it, and y'all know how that goes. That shit ain't easy. But anyway, starting off there, let's move on to our next story. From the Associated Press, shooter opens fire outside Reno casino, killing 3 and injuring several others. A gunman opened fire Monday outside the largest casino in Reno, Nevada, killing 3 people and wounding 3 others before police shot the suspect and arrested him, officials said. The suspect had no known connection to the victims, and it was unclear if he was a guest or an employee at the Grand Sierra Resort, one of Rena's most prominent venues that has hosted concerts, sporting events, and a campaign rally by President Donald Trump before the 2024 election. Near the California border and just northeast of Lake Tahoe, the town is a popular summer tourist destination. Police are still trying to determine a motive for the shooting. Now, as of recording this, I was not able to find the name of the shooter. I imagine in days to follow, we'll get more details about the shooter. But the 2 victims were in critical condition while one was treated and released from the hospital, said Chris Crawforth. I'm sorry. The police chief of the neighboring town of Sparks, whose department is leading the investigation. The shooting occurred around 7:30 a.m. when the gunman walked up to the casino's Hotel Valley parking area, pulled out a handgun, and pointed it at a group of people, police said. His gun initially malfunctioned, but he quickly was able to get to shoot multiple times before fleeing on foot through the parking lot, where he encountered an armed casino security guard. Crawforth said the gunman opened fire on the guard, who returned fire as the shooter fled again. The suspect later shot someone driving by in the parking lot, striking and killing the driver before officers arrived on the scene within 3 minutes of the first shots being fired. There was incredible swift action that took place, Reno Mayor Hillary Sheave said, adding that it stopped the suspect from going into the casino hotel to continue the rampage. The shooter had multiple firearm magazines, according to Crawforth. The suspect fired at Reno police officers, hitting a patrol vehicle. Multiple officers returned fire, striking the suspect. The suspect, whose name was not released, remains in critical condition. This was pretty intense, pretty scary. Whenever there's like a malfunction, I always hope that that's going to be the end of the story, right? Like that's kind of like the technically miracle moment in these situations, when you have a shooter who has like a gun jam, or either in the middle of it or what have you, or like in this situation in the beginning, and you go, oh my God, hopefully maybe someone can stop them. And in this situation, that didn't happen. And, he was able to go about, the shooting. And not only that, have multiple kind of instances of like kind of popping in, shooting, and then like kind of going away. But definitely probably for the best that he wasn't able to get into the hotel. Of course, I mean, you could say, well, what's the point? What does it matter? I would like to know motive. You always want to know what's the reasoning for this. What brought this person to this point, to do something like this. But definitely unfortunate. Any loss of life in this situation. I wanted to get that story in. Let's see, our next story takes place. Actually, I want to see if there's anything else I need to pull from this. I don't think so. Like I said, we will be back when I get more details on the story. Our next story, though, comes from New Orleans. It's a bit of an update, but it's also a news story. It's more of a news story than an update, but it's intertwined, so, it is what it is. But we're going to New Orleans. From NBC News. New Orleans officials mistakenly released inmate from same prison where 10 escaped in May. So we're back. We're so back, baby. Officials in New Orleans are calling on an inmate to turn himself in after a clerical error led him to be mistakenly released from the same prison where 10 escaped earlier this year. Khalil Bryant was mistakenly released from the Orleans Parish Justice Center by the Sheriff's Office, and apologetic New Orleans Police Superintendent Anne Kirkpatrick said at a Friday news conference. Also at the Friday news conference, Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson made a sincere apology to the people of New Orleans and took full responsibility for Bryant's mistaken release. Bryan was released after clerical error caused officials to confuse him with another inmate of a similar last name, Hudson said. While our systems are designed to catch these discrepancies, human error led to a breakdown of the verification process. Officials in the area have launched an investigation and are actively searching for Brian. Hudson said those who were on duty during Brian's release will be called for questioning, as this was a human error. Brian is serving time for charges including possession of stolen property, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting an officer, Kirkpatrick said, noting the inmate's violent criminal history. There's also domestic abuse and aggravated assault. It's like a home invasion with aggravated assault and domestic abuse. I'm sorry, it's a whole kit and caboodle. They go through, the measurements. He's 30, 6'4", black man with brown eyes and black hair. Now here is the release, or not the release. I'm sorry, the update part. I guess I should say. Sorry. Brian's accidental release comes just months after 10 inmates escaped from the same prison in the middle of the night through a hole in the wall behind the cell toilet. It took more than a month for New Orleans officials to round up 9 of the men, with 1 remaining at large. So they have all pled not guilty to that part, the new charges that have been brought up against them. So, I mean, that's now an ongoing thing. I just was like, that's kind of, neither here nor there. We'll get to that when we get to it. And now felt like a good time. But adding it all up, I'm reading the story and I'm like, okay, someone out of this prison's got to get fired. They've got to get fired. You could sit here and blame the infrastructure and da-da-da. We just don't have the funding and, we're short-staffed. Oh, wah, 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 wah. Whoever there's the fucking warden or whatever, who's ever running this goddamn fucking thing, this racket that we're going to call a fucking prison system, they need to lose their job, right? Like, I don't think I'm crazy for that. I don't think I'm being out of pocket and just rooting for someone's downfall that I just don't like, right? Like, you can't be this sloppy. You just can't be this sloppy. It can't happen under your watch. Not in the same year. Not in the same year. Ooh, so yeah, I think heads have got to roll. I mean, hey, it's not my fucking state, so it really don't matter to me, I guess, whatever. And y'all know me, I'm happy to see the prison system take L's, even though, technically it's like, you're like wanton criminals, violent criminals out of the streets. Okay, well, I mean, that's the prison system's fault. They gotta do better, right? Goddamn. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. That's the update. That's some new news there. Sadly, we gotta get to, some more sad stuff here. From the Associated Press, 3 people found unresponsive after plane crashes into ocean off California coast. 3 people were found unresponsive Sunday morning after a small airplane crashed in the Pacific Ocean off the central California coast, authorities said. Emergency crews responded late Saturday following reports of a plane down about 300 yards or 275 meters off Point Pinos in Monterey County, the U.S. Coast Guard said. Witnesses said they heard an aircraft engine revving and then splash in the water. People on shore later reported seeing debris wash up from the crashed plane. The twin-engined Beech 95 B-55 Baron with 3 people aboard took off from the San Carlos airport at 10:11 p.m. and was last seen at 10:37 p.m. near Monterey, according to flight tracking data from FlightAware.com. Coast Guard boat and helicopter crews were launched to search for the victims, with assistance from local law enforcement and fire agencies. Searchers in a boat found 1 person around 3 a.m. Divers found the remaining 2 people inside the aircraft between 6:30 a.m. and 9:15 a.m. All 3 were unresponsive, the Coast Guard said. In this case, unresponsive means no signs of life. However, it is the coroner's office and sheriff's office that make the distinction of dead and deceased. Petty Officer Ryan Graves said in an email. Messages were sent to the coroner's office seeking more information. The FAA, or the Federal Aviation Administration, and National Transportation Safety Board, or the NTSB, will investigate. Now, it's worth noting that I do have an update on the story. It has been confirmed that unresponsive does mean deceased in this situation. So obviously very sad. Once again, you're just taking a flight, you're doing your thing, and something like this fucking happens. So yeah, it's very unfortunate, very sad. And sadly, we have, the rest of the stories for the day are actually not happy ones. So we're just going to continue to just kind of keep on going. From CBS News, 2 children dead after sailboat and barge collision off Miami Beach, officials say. 2 children were killed and 2 others remain in critical condition after a barge collided with a small sailboat carrying a group of summer campers near Miami Beach on Biscayne Bay late Monday morning, according to the U.S. Coast Guard. The crash occurred around 11:15 a.m. between Hibiscus Island and Monument Island, authorities said. 6 people, 5 children, and 1 adult and 1 adult camp counselor were aboard the sailboat when it was struck. All were thrown into the water on impact. The Coast Guard said a 7-year-old and 13-year-old 7-year-old and a 13-year-old girl died, while an 8-year-old and an 11-year-old girl remain in critical condition. They said a 12-year-old girl and a 19-year-old woman were rescued. The children were part of a summer camp operated by the Miami Yacht Club and affiliated with the Miami Youth Sailing Foundation. Some of the children were reportedly trapped beneath the barge. Emergency response teams from Miami Beach, the city of Miami, and Miami-Dade County rushed the scene. 3 children were taken to Jackson Memorial Hospital's Ryder Trauma Center in critical condition, and 1 was transported in stable condition, authorities said. By late afternoon, the Coast Guard confirmed 2 of the children had died. 1 child and the counselor were evacuated on site but not taken to a hospital. A Coast Guard small boat crew established a 250-yard safety zone around the site where a submerged sailboat remains under the barge. So yeah, I was hoping to get details on like what caused this, because if you see the video, you just see the barge just smack, boom, right through, and I guess goes over the sailboat, and you know, there's got to be a reason for that, right? There's got to be some kind of cause. I haven't heard one yet, so I don't want to speculate. I don't want to toss anything out there. When I do hear an update about the story, we'll definitely come back to it. As always, as I gotta say, condolences to, all of the families, people who lost their lives. It's so sad. This is your summertime. It's your summer break. You're like out on the water. You're in a yacht. Like, I mean, I can't imagine that, but you're just a kid. Like, you're just supposed to be having a good time, learning how to sail and shit. And this happens. Like, that's so upsetting and scary, I imagine, for any of the survivors, like to have to go through some shit like that. Like, whew. So very heavy, very sad. And, we are closing out with a also not so happy-go-lucky story. We are doing some true crime right now. So let's go ahead and take our last break and we'll close it out. Sometimes the news vibes are just not high, But we do what we can. We do our best. All right. Whew. Our last story comes from People. Husband and wife killed while hiking with their 2 daughters in Arkansas, and police are still searching for a suspect. A couple was killed while hiking with their 2 daughters at a state park in Arkansas. Local authorities are now asking the public for help finding the suspect, who remains at large. Clinton David Brink, 43, and Kristen Amanda Brink, 41, died while they were in Devil's Den State Park with their daughters, ages 7 and 9, on Saturday, July 26, according to a press release from Arkansas State Police, or the ASP. Police were notified of the double homicide at around 2:40 p.m. local time, and they arrived at the Washington County Park soon after. The couple was found dead on a walking trail. Their daughters were not injured and are safe with other family members, according to the ASP. Police said the family had recently moved to Prairie Grove, Arkansas, located about 15 miles from the Oklahoma border from another state. On Sunday, July 27th, ASP announced that authorities had an updated description of the suspect in the case. A white male with a medium build who is wearing a long sleeve shirt with sleeves rolled up, dark pants, and a dark hat and sunglasses. The suspect, who police added was carrying a black backpack and was wearing fingerless gloves, was seen driving towards a park exit in a black four-door sedan, possibly a Mazda, with a license plate covered by electrical or duct tape. And there's something about that last part that really kind of chilled me out, where I was like, damn. So, like, whoever this was intended, right? Like, I feel like it's safe to speculate that there was no... I feel like no impulse here. This was something that they were planning on doing. And so I don't know, that was definitely like, I was like, oh gosh. So yeah, like when I heard that part of it, I was like, look, I know killings and stuff happen all the time. There's true crimes all around, right? But like something about this was one. And I noticed too, when I'm scrolling through, you see a lot of, I don't say advertising, but like links or so to like the Brian Koberger case. And I'm like, yeah, it kind of has that similar vibe to it, where we're talking about a true crime thing where it's like, okay, so we definitely know this wasn't a kind of accident or anything like that. Clearly there was a murder here. It was a double homicide. We have a bit of information about the suspect. They're out large. So I'm like, okay, yeah, this feels like a very similar kind of beat that we're on here. So, let's go ahead and keep reading. Sorry, I just definitely wanted to just kind of say that part. Authorities said the alleged may have potentially traveled on State Highway 170 or State Highway 220 near the park where the killings took place. Investigators are asking those who visited the park on Saturday to check cell phone photos and videos or GoPro camera footage for images of the suspect, police said in their release. They are asking residents of the area surrounding the park to notify ASP if they have access to security and game footage or game camera footage. So they're definitely pitching to the public at large, saying, hey, if you have any information, contact us. They have the whole number if you want to, go on people and get all the information and details. But yeah, I know I say that throughout the whole episode, but like, we'll be back on this story because there's just got to be some answers. And you would think someone like this, a guy like this, isn't just going to disappear into the wind, right? They're either going to get caught or they're probably going to do it again. I don't know. Once again, my speculation hat is on right now, but yeah, I wanted to talk about the story for sure. But yeah, that's where we'll leave it for today. Like I said, there's a lot of news going on right now. I'm going to try to, run it down as best I can throughout the week, as I always do. But, yeah, that's where we'll leave it for today. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/ZaneNews. Become a newsie today. We do have a roll call coming up at the top of the month. Get your name on the queue today. Free ways to hit me up, though, ZaneNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. That's free action that helps out a lot. Follow on TikTok, follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts, whatever platform you like to listen. Let's see here. Hit the like button. Leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. Obviously, especially on the YouTube, but whatever, platform, social media thing you're seeing, you have access to from the newsstand, whatever. You just hit that shit. Do that shit. Cool. But if not, it's A-okay. I really just appreciate you listening and just hanging out with me. That's pretty rad. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.